Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on Election Day Tuesday. Of course, really, it's been Election Day for like 6 weeks, right? I mean, that's depending on where you live, you've been able to vote for a long time. But today is the final day of voting, and we'll wait by the TV as they tell us or don't tell us who the next president of the United States is going to be, and everybody's a little anxious, a little nervous, right? The Democratic cities, they're worried about the hooligans on the left might get upset and start rioting. I don't know. I hope not. We'll see how it goes. I know my last son voted today. And so that's we've gotten our stuff done. My mom also voted today, and both reported the same thing. Not a lot of action early, anyway, at these polling places. Of course, a lot of people already voted, man. I think, what was it, like 80 million people or something like that have already voted. But I guess we'll see what happens. It's almost unimportant. Anything else I have to talk about today? Does anyone even care? We have some economic data out. You know what? I'm not even going to tell you what it is. You know what? Because none of you care anyway, right? Everyone's just wanting to know. Maybe the goal is whatever happens, it happens as fast as possible, and everybody can get back to their daily lives. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. Of course, the physical delivery of wealth insurance, as we like to call it, gold and silver. It is what we do. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at allamericangold.com. Of course, when you call, that's when we answer. Whatever we decide we want to answer, that's what it is. But Jason, really, I will say that this day couldn't have gotten here fast enough. And that's only if we actually know who was, hopefully by this time tomorrow, when we get on the air tomorrow, we can say, okay, as long as they don't get killed or die before January, 21st, this is going to be the next president of the United States. But somehow, we'll see. I don't know. I go back and forth between it. I talked to my brother in West Virginia. You guys know he's kind of a big deal. The largest, his company is the largest owner of TV stations in the United States. And he said to me last night, it'll all come down to Pennsylvania. Trump has to win Pennsylvania or he won't win. But we'll see. I don't know. There you go. That's my prediction. I'm going to stick with it. I've said Harris all along because I'm so bad at predicting the president that usually what happens is whatever I say, the opposite happens. So I'm going with the Harris thing.
We'll see. We'll find out, right, Joe? I mean, I've seen the clips. I've seen the clips. I forget what the guy's name is, saying that, well, if Trump wins, when it comes to January 6th and we certify, we're just going to disqualify him. And so on January 6th, they're going to give it to Kamala Harris. That's the thing I've been seeing lately. So the guy is just saying, I think he's a congressman, and he's like, well, we'll just disqualify him on the 6th. And so that's got all the, of course, the Trump people worried, the ones that have seen. So who knows? So Trump could win tonight, and then on January 6th, I guess Congress could disqualify him. I don't even know if that's real.
I don't even know how that would work. Right now, he's got a sentencing hearing coming. I mean, he could be president and be in jail at the same time. That'd be kind of cool, right? That'd be new. Right? You sit there, like, you'll have a jail cell, and they'll have, like, Secret Service outside, and then they'll have, like, the red phone for, the case the Russians or the Chinese want to call, and the Situation Room, I don't know. Who knows, right? I mean, you can really have a lot of fun with it, if you think about it. I mean, Trump should be like, yes, I'm not going to pardon myself or anything like that, and you know what? I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to run the country from prison.
I could see Joe Biden pardoning Trump. How's that? Right before he leaves office. Oh, I'm going to pardon old Trump. He gave me some campaign donations 20 years ago. I guess I owe him.
Oh, well, we'll see. I know that, and I know people are like, oh, well, you can't pardon him. It's like the because there's the state of New York, and you know what? Let me tell you right now, if there's one thing I know about our government, the rules don't matter, right? When in doubt, we'll just break them. That's what I know about the government. So I'm not too worried one way or the other, but the bond market skyrocketing again today. We had another tough auction last night. It was a 3-year auction. Plenty of foreign demand. That was where the good news ended. The bad news was the foreigners were like, well, yeah, no, you gotta pay us more interest than that. Otherwise, we're not really interested. So that's been driving rates up. And it was only a 3-year auction, which is normally, the shorter duration ones tend to do better. But, Jason, this is how big interest rates have moved. So a month ago, this auction was like, 3.8, 3.8 and change. This one was 4.15, right? So that's, of course, the 10-year note right today now 4.36, right? So you can see the inversion of the yield curve. And by the way, another tail, the biggest tail since June. The internals, not horrible as far as foreign demand. Unfortunately, the dealers, they still had to buy 20% of the auction. And, we keep talking about that reverse repo facility. And, of course, the Treasury reloading the checkbook. Oh, let's not forget, got a Fed meeting. Starts tomorrow. We'll be back. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason here on this Election Day Tuesday. A quick look in at the markets, kind of the opposite of yesterday, right? Yesterday we had the sell-off. Today, at least for right now, the Dow's up 300, the S&P's up 50, the Nasdaq's up 200. 10-year note, like I said, 436 in change on the 10-year note. By the way, British yields spiking again, so we'll keep our eye over there as well. Remember, they had a problem, last week? Right now, their 10-year note at 4.53. Crude oil is up another $1. Still rumblings that Iran may decide to attack Israel again. We'll see. I don't know. Gold right now is up 6, 17.43. Silver's up 25 cents, 32.68. And something really interesting today is even with the yields moving higher, the dollar is down against all the major currencies. It's kind of unusual. Usually when you got higher yields, that means the dollar's going to be stronger. But again, I think this is one of those things. I think things are going to look different this time around with all of this debt and all of these things. And again, you got to start getting prepared here. We always say, be your own central bank. We always say, hey, you probably want an ounce of gold for every year you've been alive. You need an ounce of gold for every year your wife's been alive, your kids, your grandkids, all of that stuff. And when you start looking at what central banks are doing, of course, what are they making the choice on? I can have fiat currencies or fiat debt or gold. And they're choosing gold. Matter of fact, they're choosing gold like the world is never in the world have they chosen so much gold. Then I'll say the modern world, because I don't know how much gold the Spaniards were taking and the English and all that. I don't know, but never in the world have they bought so much. And this is why we keep telling you, you have to be more diversified than ever. Look at what Warren Buffett is doing. See, the stock market's a debt market. You do understand that, right? It's a debt market. And what Warren Buffett is saying is, Yeah, I don't like this debt market. Matter of fact, I'm going to stockpile my cash. Because when it all crashes, I'm going to be ready to swoop in. See, because here's what he knows. Hey, why should I stay in that debt market if I think that I'm going to lose half my money, as an example, in it? That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to sell now. And then when it falls, right, then I'll buy stuff. This is what you need to be doing. You need to get more diversified. I keep telling you this. Don't sit there and take it, especially if you're old. I mean, you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. You don't get a time to make it all back. You don't get the time. You don't have the luxury. You know, we've been talking about 10 years from today. It's very likely. So I said likely and not possibly. Very likely that the Dow is going to be somewhere around 42,000. Guess what? It's exactly where it is today. In that 10 years, there's a good chance the Dow's going to be in the 20s. Maybe it gets back, maybe it gets back to 42 in 10 years. Maybe, may not. Look at Japan, how long it took them. Get more diversified. You got those big IRAs sitting out there. I get it. You're like, well, gosh, I'm going to wait. Well, what about Trump or what about Harris? What about the? No, it doesn't matter. It may matter about, I don't know, abortion or the border, or maybe it matters about war. I don't know. Maybe. No, it doesn't matter about the debt market. Does not matter. You need to be calling us. You need to be getting your gold and silver. You got big IRAs. You need to call us. Talk to Arlene. She'll roll over part of your IRA into gold and silver. You need to call our friends at YRefi. I mean, this is going to end up being one of the great deals. Up to 10.25% fixed rate of return. Man, you think about I can make 50% in the next 5 years. Yeah, you could. Or you can lose 50%. I don't know, right? That's kind of what I feel the two choices are. It's up to you. You got to have a minimum of $50,000, as you guys know. Why do we like them? It's not correlated to the stock market. Doesn't care about the election today. Believe me, they don't care. You know what else they don't care about? They don't care about this Fed meeting. They don't care about rate cuts, inflation. They don't care about any of that stuff. They don't play games. They don't charge fees. You can use it as income. You can compound it. You've heard me tell the story over and over and over again. Check them out. InvestYRefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com. Or just call them. 888-YRefi24, 888-973-3924. It's still earnings season right now, Jason. We had a lot. You know what? This shouldn't surprise anybody. So we had Yum Brands. Okay, so that's KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut. Guess what? Yeah, no. Sales are down. Even though we've raised prices. So remember, like the last year or so, year and a half, they were like, well, yeah, sales have slowed down, but we've raised prices enough to offset the slowdown. All of a sudden, this is changing. Now they're saying, yeah, sales are down, we've raised prices, but not enough to offset the slowdown. Same store sales down 4% at Yum Brands. You know, that's significant, you know, because Yum Brands, let's face it, that's a good operator, right? They know how to operate, kind of like McDonald's. Burger King, restaurant brands, a.k.a. Burger King. Same story. Not as good of an operator, but the story still the same. How about Marriott? You know what Marriott's saying? People stop traveling, Jason. They blamed it on the election. You know what? I get that, right? Everyone's saying the same thing. Gosh, I wish this election could be over. Apparently, people aren't staying at Marriott because of the election. Now that was what Marriott was saying. So they're like, okay, as soon as the election's over, maybe people will start traveling again.
Not a lot of people stay in hotels, do they, on a Tuesday?
I don't know. I just...
Or they talk about like the months leading up. I mean, there's no reason not to stay at a Marriott on last week. I mean, it should be all right. I don't know, but I guess they know better. They're the ones not getting the amount of visits they need, right?
Yeah, well, they had to lower their guidance. They missed on the top. They missed on the bottom. I mean, earnings per share, they're expecting $2.51, came in at $2.07. The good part was the Marriott was like, well, we raised prices, right? So we had revenue of $6.26 billion, almost made it. They were expecting $6.27. But once again, they're saying that, less people seem to be traveling, according to Marriott, and hoping, I guess, for lack of a better word, that it will just be because of the elections. And then on top of that, delinquencies in commercial real estate having the worst month since the financial crisis. Delinquency rates spiked almost 10%. That is big. They're saying that the prices of office towers down 50 to 70% from their last transaction, sometimes as much as 90%. But they said that the delinquency rate spiked to 9.4% in October. It was 8.4% in September. That is the highest month-on-month jump since the worst months of the financial crisis. And Jason, just to give people an idea, in the financial crisis, people think, well, 07, 08. It's a little different. The worst in office delinquencies didn't occur till like 2011, 2012. Because there's that drag. Right now, we are 1 percentage point away from shattering the commercial office delinquency rate set during the financial crisis. And looking at what's coming right now, they're saying, Jason, that they expect that they will take that number out over the next quarter or so. So by the end of 2024, early 2025, they expect office delinquency rates to be, I think, if I'm right, it'll be the highest ever.
Ever? The highest ever?
Ever. For office commercial delinquency rates. You know, when we think about Warren Buffett, you think that Warren's getting rid of bank stocks because maybe some of this stuff? Yes, and I've been watching this, Joe. I was just looking at this a couple nights ago. The office space that's empty is growing by the month too. There's going to be a lot of deals in commercial real estate, isn't there, Joe? There's going to be a lot of, it makes you wonder what all the stock selling by these billionaires, where are they really going to be putting it, right, Joe? Are they going to be buying the stock back after a crash, or are they going to put it somewhere for a while? And I know what you said yesterday that Buffett's going to be buying, he's buying treasuries, putting it there for now. But, very short-dated. So Buffett buys very short-dated treasuries, and then he hedges it so when he needs to liquidate, he doesn't have to wait for it to mature. He's got himself covered. Basically, though, the thing that you need to know about Buffett is guess where he doesn't put it? Doesn't put it in the bank. I mean, think about it. If the bank was really safe, right, he could put it in there, probably get 4%, 5% on his money with that kind of depositing, right? Not have to pay a fee to buy the treasuries, not have to pay a fee to hedge the treasuries that he bought, but he's doing all of that stuff because he knows, Jason, the last place you want to have your money is in these banks. It's just the fact.
Right, and as you said, the commercial real estate is all-time high, right? I saw that. How many? Has trillions of dollars? It's a huge amount of money of debt that has to be turned over, and I can't remember what I saw, Joe. If I can remember what, because I was going to bring it to the air, but yeah, backing up what Joe just said, which is this is a tremendously damaging situation to the economy, and there's going to be a lot of losers and a lot of winners that are going to come out of this thing, Joe.
Yeah, well, you know what? And you got to remember that's very true. Yeah, there's going to be losers, but yeah, there's also going to be winners as well. When we get back, something very interesting when it comes to the creation of Bitcoin. Is it possible that the United States government was behind it? I've speculated as much. When we get back, we're going to talk about that because somebody has made the case that this could just be a government ploy after all. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason here on this Tuesday, election day. This is out of Silver Academy. The NSA cryptographic fingerprints, the agency's role in Bitcoin's foundational technology. Now, I'm going to say something very simply, that the NSA has been working on a development of what they were calling a cryptographic technology. It started with evidence has emerged suggesting the National Security Agency, the NSA, and the creation of Bitcoin. At the heart of the controversy is U.S. patent number 6829355. 6829355. This was filed on March 5th, 2001. Now, Bitcoin didn't make its appearance right until 2009, right until the financial crisis. And it was amazing how fast it seemed to pop up. Well, maybe it really wasn't that fast at all. The patent is simply titled Cryptographic System and Method for Secure Communications. And they're saying that there's some people speculating that this may be the true creator. I don't know. The NSA does indeed hold the patent for the technology that is underlined in Bitcoin. That, I think that's, at least according to these guys, that is not in question. That this patent, and I guess how Bitcoin operates, are eerily similar. They said that also that Bitcoin was not created as a response to the financial crisis. My guess is they knew it was coming. That's what I thought all along anyway. Now, again, this is for debate. However, the NSA has been interested in digital currencies before that patent was filed in 1996. They had a paper titled How to Make a Mint, the cryptography of anonymous electronic cash. the cryptography of anonymous electronic cash. Interesting. So, at least as far back as 1996, they published this paper. By the way, its concepts strikingly similar to what's been implemented by Bitcoin. So, Jason, I guess I'm bringing this up for one reason only. I don't know if our government was involved in it. I have speculated that for a long time, right? I don't know. But what we do know now is the NSA has been was working on this more than 10 years before we ever heard of Bitcoin, and filed a patent eerily similar to Bitcoin as far back as 2001.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. It's just there's just too much money involved with it. It came along at just the right time. Let's face it, the bankers have had a lid on competition when it comes to their monetary system for a long time. So this is, I think on one of the shows a couple weeks ago, Joe, I said that I thought the Bitcoin and the cryptos that are out currently is wargaming exactly what digital currencies will be in the future. A bunch of them will die off and go away. Some of them will stick around, and they'll have a free-flowing digital monetary system that will tell you what you can or can't do with the digital currency. And if you go to look for the alternative ones, at that point, they won't have any value. And once they establish whatever digital currency gets put into place, Joe, that'll be it. It won't. It'll be hard to have a competing system. So I think that's what the cryptos that are out now, starting with Bitcoin. I think that's what it's been. It's hey, let's put this thing out there. Let's see what the competition does. I mean, look at all the cryptos that are out there, and nobody seems to really take down Bitcoin. Bitcoin seems to have just dominated all the cryptos. If Bitcoin goes up, the rest of them go up. If Bitcoin goes down, the rest of them go down. And why? It doesn't seem like Bitcoin should be that impervious. Well, it's a program, right? Can't some other genius go out there and make a competing crypto and compete against this thing? And it doesn't look like it, does it, Joe? It sure looks like it's a controlled entity in the crypto space.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm not surprised. I'll say this. It's coincidental for sure, but I think our government, our central bankers, I think that they've been gearing up for this for a while. None of this surprises me. Does that mean that they created Bitcoin? No, it doesn't mean that. Does it mean it's possible that they created? Yes, it's possible. Absolutely. But I guess at the end of the day, here's what we don't know. Guess what we don't know? This is what they were willing to let us see, right? They had to file a patent. Somebody found it, right? They created this white paper. And, of course, go back to 1996. I mean, that was like, were we still on dial-up in 1996? Right? People still had beepers and fax machines. I mean, we were a long way off, and yet they were laying the foundation for this cashless society. That's what we're able to see. I think, again, at the next crisis, we're going to learn the rest of it. And whether or not, I don't know what happens to Bitcoin or any of the other, I don't know. Well, some of them make it, some of them not, maybe. I know the Treasury, all of a sudden, in the last 24 hours, they want to get rid of all the stable coins now and replace those with a central bank digital currency. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Right? The government is going to get involved. And I know that there's some people out there that think, hey, Donald Trump's on this. If Donald Trump wins, Bitcoin's going to 125,000. Maybe. I don't know. What happens if he loses? Does it go to 50,000? I don't know. We'll see. But interesting nonetheless. I don't think should surprise anybody that our government's been working on digital currencies for a lot longer than we ever knew about. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason on the election day today. Yesterday, we gave you some options in silver and fractional gold. We're going to do it one more time here. And the great part is they're higher. So it's an even better deal today. 5-ounce silver bars, $180 today. Rolls of silver rounds, $740. You get 21-ounce silver rounds. Remember, right, just like U.S. Silver Eagles, right? U.S. Silver Eagles, they've got 20 ounces of silver. You get 20 coins. They each got 1 ounce of silver in it, right? This is the same thing, except it's not minted by the U.S. Mint. Instead, they're minted by the company that provides the mint with the silver disc. Same company. And then the mint just stamps them. Well, here's the difference. If you want the government hallmarked silver coins, they're $815 for 20. Or you can get these at $740, right? There's that savings there. Obviously, when you sell them back, we pay more for the government hallmark because they carry a higher premium. That makes sense. But this is a pretty big discount when you're talking about, hey, wait, I'm paying $75 less for 20 ounces of silver. That's $3.75 an ounce less when you're looking at these silver rounds. And then, of course, the $5 gold liberties, right? This quarter ounce. Man, you think about when I started, they weren't even $100. That's crazy. It's just, I don't even know. I don't really remember people even wanting to buy them because, right, a $20 gold piece is like $300, you know. They're $765. And, Jason, these are going to be over $1,000. I mean, they just are. Why do I say that? Because nobody has a plan in place to rein in spending. Nobody has a plan in place for Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. People really are fooled here. You know, Medicare and Medicaid in 2026, I don't know what's going to it's going to get ugly. It's going to be out of money, which means what? Well, we'll divert some of the Social Security money. Well, what does that mean? Well, then Social Security is going to run out of money a lot sooner, right? It's only at 2033 anyway. It's not like it's a long time away. Interest on the debt. Look at what's going on in the debt market. Everybody and their mother and their brother and their sister, even the dog, thinks the Fed's going to lower interest rates on Thursday. And yet, we've got a 10-year note that's pushing up on 4.4. When they first lowered rates 50 basis points, it was 3.6. That's not supposed to happen. Why is it happening? This is the thing I'm trying to get people to understand, and they want to pretend like it's complicated. It's not complicated, guys. It's not. Every day, we got to sell all this debt. Look at yesterday. People showed up, which was better than what's been happening. But guess what they said? Oh, well, you want 4%? No, we're not doing it for that. Right? You got to pay more. Why are rates up today? Because they know, gosh, everyone comes to the auctions, they want more. But the Fed's lowering rates, so you should want less. No, we don't. Remember, was it Jeff Gundlach? Remember what he said? Hey, If you take risk, you need to be rewarded for taking a risk. And forever, I can remember all these idiots on the TV. Oh, my God, U.S. Treasuries, it's the safest, it's a non-risk investment. Let's see. Bank of America says an auction's going to fail at any moment. J.P. Morgan says it. Goldman Sachs says it. Jeff Gundlach says it, right? Everybody keeps saying it sooner or later. They're not going to be there. Think about it right now. We're lucky. Hey, they're coming. Less than they normally did, and they want more. But at least they're still coming. What they're talking about is sometime, and dude, they're not talking about 10 years. Right? Most of these guys' time horizons, they're saying, hey, in the next, 12 to 24 months, we're going to have a problem. Where guess what? They didn't even show. They didn't even come. They're like, you know what? I don't care how much you give me. I don't want it. You better be diversified before that day comes. That's all I'm telling you. You do what you want. You want to keep being risky, that's on you. You don't want to get yourself diversified and protected, that's on you. You have that right. But, Jason, it's obvious what's happening, and it's amazing. Nobody wants to talk about it. I've done this a long time. You don't see these kinds of moves in the Treasury market, especially when the Fed is saying they're lowering rates.
It's going to get rockier, isn't it, Joe? It's just going to get rockier. It's Silver Eagle special. What we got for you guys today, you might as well buy it because we don't know what tomorrow's going to hold, do we, Joe? Silver and gold could take off like a rocket. It could go down tomorrow, but you know what? Stack as many ounces as you can get your hands on. Get as many ounces as you can get your hands on, Joe.
Stack it up. Final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Third quarter gold demand is in, and it was another big one. 1,176 tons in the third quarter. That's so far above. If you did that every quarter, that'd be 4,700 metric tons, and that'd be like 700 tons more than what they could even get, right? I mean, this is the problem, up sharply from Q2. So we got higher gold prices, yet demand increasing. It was down barely from last year's all-time record. They said that ETF demand added 95 tons of gold. That's the part that's been missing. They did say, hey, bar and coin demand were strong, but down a little bit, right? Higher prices. Jewelry demand was down, but offset by what was happening in the ETFs. By the way, central banks, just under 700 metric tons of gold, 694 metric tons in the first 9 months. They're saying that this will be the third highest on record, only surpassed by last year in 2022. And here's the thing, Jason and I will both tell you, gold's up almost $1,000. And that just tells you they actually spent more money buying this gold, even though the total tons will be down a little bit. They were actually, Jason, increasing their exposure in dollar terms compared to what they did over the last 2 years. But this is what's happening with the price right now.
Yeah, gold and silver are racing all year. I mean, the movement has been completely positive. There's been hardly any pullbacks. And so for a lot of people, they look at that, Joe, and people say, well, I don't want to buy it now. There's so many people that say, I'm not going to buy it now. They look at it like stock. You got to look at it versus stock. look at it versus other things. And when things are going sideways and weird, that's when gold and silver takes off. I mean, gold's doing a lot of the same stuff it was doing around the 2008 crash, Joe. It's got very similar movements, and we could see record highs that go all the way through next year and the next year and the next year. We don't talk about the record highs of oatmeal, but with the inflation that's always in the cycle. I used to eat a lot of oatmeal. Oatmeal 10 years ago, 15 years ago, a lot cheaper than it is now. Gold and silver is technically like oatmeal. It's just that oatmeal doesn't have shelf staying power, right? It rots. It goes away. You got to feed to the horse, or you got to eat it yourself, right? Whereas gold will hold its value. It's not going to rot. I mean, gold is perfect for it because even silver can tarnish and actually degrade, but gold doesn't degrade at all. Silver's great. It's metal. It's going to last a long time. I've seen some ugly silver, Joe. We bought plenty of ugly silver. It's still an ounce of silver. You may not get the best price, but you're gonna get money for that ugly silver. It's always got its value inherently in that metal.
Absolutely. Today, again, the specials today. Silver, 5-ounce silver bars at $180. Rolls of 20 silver rounds at $740. And the $5 gold liberties at $765 at 800-951-0592. Jason and I were coming right back with the half-empty cup.